Ladies and gentlemen, imagine waking up every day completely in control of your decisions, your emotions, and your destiny. Imagine knowing exactly why you do, what drives you, and what's holding you back before life forces you to find out the hard way. Today, I'm going to show you how one skill, one mindset, can completely transform the way you lead, achieve, and live. It's not about working harder, it's not about luck. It's about understanding yourself deeply, and the power of self-awareness for success is far greater than you realize. Stay with me because this will change the way you see yourself and the world around you forever. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a moment to think about what it truly means to know yourself. Not just on the surface, not just the version of you that you present to the world, but the raw, unfiltered understanding of who you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, your fears, your desires. Self-awareness is not a skill, it's the foundation upon which every meaningful success is built. And here's the thing, without it, no strategy, no goal, no ambition will take root in a way that is authentic, sustainable, or fulfilling. We live in a world that constantly tells us who we should be, what we should want, and how we should measure success. And in chasing those external markers, we often forget the most important relationship we have, the one with ourselves. Self-awareness flips that script. It forces you to pause, reflect, and confront the reality of your own thoughts and actions. It is the lens through which you see not only yourself, but the world around you. And once that lens is clear, everything changes. Imagine a leader who does not understand themselves. They may have knowledge, resources, even charisma, but they lack alignment. Their decisions are reactive, inconsistent, and often misaligned with their true values. Now contrast that with a leader or anyone really who knows who they are. They understand what drives them, what ignites their passion, what triggers their frustration. They make decisions not based on fleeting pressures, but rooted in clarity and authenticity. That is the power of self-awareness. It transforms indecision into confidence, chaos into focus, and potential into tangible results. Self-awareness is not about perfection, it's about honesty. It's about asking the hard questions. Why do I react this way? Why do I avoid this challenge? Where do I need to grow? It is about looking in the mirror and admitting the uncomfortable truths, because those truths are not there to punish you. They are there to guide you. They are the signals pointing you toward your next step, toward the behaviors, habits, and choices that will truly elevate you. And here's something crucial: self-awareness creates leverage in your relationships. You cannot influence others if you do not first understand yourself. You cannot inspire trust if you are inconsistent with your own values. You cannot lead a team, a company, or even your own life if you are unaware of the patterns that dictate your decisions. People sense authenticity. They feel when someone operates with clarity and self-knowledge. That is the energy that attracts opportunities, collaboration, and alignment in every arena of life. Every successful person you admire is, at some level, deeply self-aware. They know what they are capable of, they know where they are vulnerable, and they understand how to operate within that spectrum. That awareness allows them to make choices that compound over time. It allows them to navigate failures with grace, to adapt without losing their identity, and to pursue success without sacrificing integrity. Self-awareness is not a destination, it is a continuous practice. Every day presents new challenges, new emotions, new decisions that reveal more about who you are. To be self-aware is to commit to a lifelong journey of reflection, learning, and growth. And as you cultivate that understanding, something remarkable happens. Your life begins to align with your purpose, your actions gain clarity, and success stops being something external you chase and becomes something you naturally embody. When you understand yourself deeply, the noise of the world no longer dictates your path. You start to make choices that are authentic, intentional, and impactful. That is the real power of self-awareness. The ability to create a life and a career that is not only successful by external standards, but deeply meaningful to you. It's not just about achieving goals. It's about knowing why those goals matter, who you are in the process, and how your journey impacts the people around you. Once you begin to understand yourself, the ripple effects are profound. Self-awareness allows you to identify the patterns that have been holding you back, often without you even realizing it. It gives you the power to break cycles of behavior that no longer serve you, to confront fears that have quietly dictated your choices, and to make conscious decisions rather than reacting automatically to circumstances. Think about it. How often do we act out of habit or fear, only to look back and wonder why we didn't take a different path? Self-awareness stops that cycle. It equips you with the insight to pause before acting, to choose responses aligned with your highest values, and to approach life with intention instead of default reactions. And here's a truth that few people fully grasp. The most powerful leaders, the ones who create lasting impact, are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who know themselves. They understand the emotional triggers that can sway them, the biases that can cloud their judgment, and the limitations that can hold them back. This understanding doesn't make them weaker, it makes them stronger, because when you know your vulnerabilities, you can prepare for them. When you know your strengths, you can leverage them. When you know your patterns, you can change them. Self-awareness also magnifies your capacity for resilience. Life will inevitably challenge you. Failure is not optional, it's guaranteed. But self-awareness allows you to process failure in a constructive way. It teaches you to ask, what can I learn from this? What does this reveal about how I operate under pressure? How can I adjust without compromising who I am? Instead of falling victim to external circumstances, self-aware individuals transform setbacks into opportunities. They recognize that failure is not a judgment on their worth. It is a mirror reflecting the areas where growth is necessary. And growth is exactly what fuels lasting success. Moreover, self-awareness deepens your empathy. Understanding yourself illuminates the way you perceive others. You begin to see that everyone operates with their own fears, biases, and desires. You become more patient, more adaptable, and more capable of building authentic relationships. In a world obsessed with competition, it is the ability to empathize, to understand the perspectives of others while staying rooted in your own values, that separates transient success from enduring impact. Leaders who are self-aware inspire loyalty, trust, and collaboration because people feel seen, understood, and respected. The journey of self-awareness requires courage. It demands that you confront uncomfortable truths about your motivations, habits, and limitations. It asks you to strip away the masks you wear for the sake of approval or acceptance, and face yourself honestly. But the reward for that courage is immense. With each insight, you gain clarity. With each moment of reflection, you gain control over the narrative of your life. And with each choice aligned with your authentic self, you move closer to the success that is meaningful, not just superficial. Self-awareness also fuels innovation and creativity. When you know your tendencies and blind spots, you create space for new ideas to emerge. You are not trapped in habitual thinking or constrained by unexamined fears. Instead, you can approach problems from a place of insight and curiosity. You start asking questions that others overlook, exploring possibilities that others dismiss, and taking risks that others avoid. Not recklessly, but intentionally. This is the mindset that produces breakthroughs, whether in business, personal growth, or any field of endeavor. Perhaps most importantly, self-awareness reminds you that success is not a destination. It is a reflection of alignment. Alignment between your values and your actions, between your goals and your purpose, between who you are and who you aspire to become. When you operate from that alignment, you stop measuring success by external benchmarks alone. You stop comparing yourself to others, chasing validation, or conforming to societal expectations. Instead, you create your own definition of success, one rooted in authenticity, impact, and fulfillment. And as you cultivate this self-awareness, you begin to notice something extraordinary. Opportunities start to appear in ways you never expected. People are drawn to clarity and authenticity. They are inspired by those who operate with self-knowledge because it signals trustworthiness, consistency, and vision. Doors open not simply because of skill or luck, but because you are aligned with your own purpose, and that alignment radiates outward. It is magnetic, it is compelling, it is transformative. Ultimately, self-awareness is the compass that guides every decision, every interaction, and every step on the journey to success. It is the foundation for leadership, the fuel for resilience, the key to authentic influence, and the engine for personal growth. Without it, you may achieve milestones, but you will struggle to achieve fulfillment. With it, you not only achieve but thrive, not only lead but inspire, not only live but flourish. Every moment spent in reflection, every effort made to understand yourself more deeply, compounds over time into a life of meaning, purpose, and extraordinary success. Self-awareness is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the single most powerful tool you have to shape your destiny, to navigate the complexities of life, and to create a future that reflects the best version of yourself. Once self-awareness becomes a daily practice, it begins to reshape the way you approach every aspect of your life. It transforms challenges into opportunities, conflicts into lessons, and uncertainty into clarity. When you truly know yourself, every decision is filtered through a lens of intentionality. You no longer chase success blindly. You move toward it with purpose and precision. You begin to recognize that your time, energy, and focus are finite resources, and self-awareness empowers you to allocate them where they matter most. Consider how many people live their lives reacting to external forces, social pressures, economic shifts, or the expectations of others, without ever pausing to ask what they truly want or need. Self-awareness breaks that cycle. It gives you the ability to distinguish between noise and signal, between what demands your attention and what merely seeks to distract you. It teaches you to prioritize not based on urgency or societal norms, but based on alignment with your core values and long-term vision. In doing so, it becomes a powerful tool for mastering your own life rather than being mastered by it. Self-awareness also cultivates emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and manage your own emotions while empathizing with the emotions of others. Think about the times you've allowed frustration, fear, or pride to dictate your actions. How often did it lead to outcomes you later regretted? When you are self-aware, you recognize those emotions for what they are, you understand their source, and you learn to respond rather than react. This skill alone has the potential to transform relationships, both personal and professional. People don't respond to authority or knowledge alone, they respond to understanding and presence. And self-awareness is the gateway to that presence. Another powerful aspect of self-awareness is the clarity it brings to decision-making. Every choice we make is influenced by our past experiences, our biases, and our unconscious habits. Without awareness, these influences can steer us in directions that are counterproductive or misaligned with our goals. But when you practice self-awareness, you start to see these patterns, to recognize when your past is dictating your present, and to consciously choose actions that serve your highest purpose. This is the difference between drifting through life and steering it with intention. Self-awareness also amplifies resilience. Life will always present obstacles. Unexpected failures, setbacks, and disappointments are inevitable. But when you understand yourself deeply, you are better equipped to navigate these challenges. You recognize your triggers, you anticipate the pressure points, and you prepare mentally and emotionally for the obstacles ahead. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulties. It is about confronting them with insight, learning from them, and emerging stronger. Self-awareness provides the map for that journey, showing you where to adapt, where to persist, and where to innovate. Moreover, self-awareness enhances your ability to inspire and lead others. True influence comes not from authority or position, but from authenticity and integrity. People are drawn to individuals who operate with clarity, who understand themselves, and who lead with purpose. When you are self-aware, you project confidence without arrogance, humility without weakness, and vision without rigidity. You inspire trust because people sense that your actions are consistent with your values. Leadership becomes less about control and more about creating an environment where others can thrive, where collaboration replaces competition, and where collective success is possible because the leader is fully aligned with their own principles. Self-awareness also encourages continuous growth. When you understand your strengths, you know where to leverage them. When you understand your weaknesses, you know where to seek improvement or support. It fuels a mindset of learning, curiosity, and adaptability. The more you reflect on yourself, the more you uncover opportunities for development, and the more you recognize the gaps between where you are and where you want to be. Growth, in this sense, is not a linear process. It is a spiral, each level of self-awareness bringing deeper insight, stronger capabilities, and greater impact. Perhaps most profoundly, self-awareness aligns your life with your purpose. Without it, success can feel hollow because it is measured externally rather than internally. But when you know yourself, every achievement resonates, every goal has meaning, and every step forward feels aligned with who you truly are. You begin to live life not according to other people's definitions of success, but according to your own, creating a trajectory that is authentic, fulfilling, and impactful. Self-awareness is the anchor in a world full of distractions, the compass when the path is uncertain, and the fuel that drives intentional action. It transforms potential into performance, insight into strategy, and clarity into results. Every moment spent reflecting, questioning, and understanding yourself compounds over time, shaping a life of purpose, influence, and sustainable success. The practice of self-awareness is not a one-time effort. It is a lifelong commitment. It requires honesty, courage, and persistence. It asks you to confront uncomfortable truths, to examine your motivations, and to acknowledge both your limitations and your gifts. Yet it is through this commitment that you unlock the most extraordinary resource available to you, the power to navigate your life deliberately, to lead with integrity, to build resilience, and to create success that is not only measurable but deeply meaningful. As you continue to cultivate self-awareness, you begin to notice something remarkable. Life starts to make sense in ways it never did before. The choices you make, the relationships you nurture, the paths you pursue, all of it becomes connected through a thread of intentionality. You stop wandering aimlessly, reacting to circumstances, or letting others dictate your direction. Instead, you begin to move with purpose, clarity, and confidence. And the beautiful part is that self-awareness is contagious. It influences not only your own life, but also the people around you. When you operate from a place of understanding and alignment, it inspires others to do the same, creating environments of trust, growth, and collaboration. Self-awareness allows you to distinguish between what truly matters and what is noise. In a world overloaded with information, distractions, and opinions, the ability to focus on what aligns with your values is an extraordinary advantage. You begin to recognize the situations, people, and habits that drain you versus those that energize and elevate you. This discernment saves time, energy, and emotional bandwidth, all of which are essential resources for creating lasting success. When you prioritize intentionally, the outcomes you achieve are not random, they are a direct reflection of your focus and your alignment with purpose. Moreover, self-awareness empowers you to embrace vulnerability in ways that strengthen rather than weaken you. When you know your limits and acknowledge your fears, you can approach challenges with honesty and courage. Vulnerability, when paired with self-awareness, becomes a source of connection, innovation, and trust. It allows you to ask for help when necessary, to admit mistakes without shame, and to adapt without losing your sense of identity. This is a radical shift from the misguided notion that success comes from pretending to be invincible. True success comes from understanding yourself deeply, including your limitations, and using that understanding to navigate the world strategically and authentically. Self-awareness also sharpens your ability to make tough decisions. Every decision involves trade-offs, But when you understand your core values, your strengths, and your objectives, these trade-offs become easier to navigate. Choices that might once have seemed paralyzing now become clear, because you can weigh them against what truly matters to you. This clarity reduces anxiety, strengthens resolve, and builds the confidence needed to take bold, decisive action. Leaders who lack self-awareness may hesitate, overthink, or shift directions erratically, but those who possess it act with precision, guided by an internal compass that never wavers. The practice of self-awareness deepens your capacity for gratitude and perspective. When you understand yourself, you are better able to recognize the progress you have made, the obstacles you have overcome, and the resources at your disposal. You see not only where you need to grow, but also where you have already excelled. This perspective fuels motivation and optimism, giving you the energy to pursue larger goals while appreciating the journey along the way. Gratitude becomes a natural byproduct of self-awareness, because you are constantly observing the interplay between your efforts, your growth, and the circumstances that shape your life. Self-awareness also fosters creativity and innovation in profound ways. When you are in tune with your thought patterns, biases, and habitual approaches, you create space for new ideas and perspectives to emerge. You can approach problems with curiosity instead of frustration, explore unconventional solutions without fear, and experiment with strategies that align with your unique strengths. Creative breakthroughs rarely occur in a vacuum. They are born from reflection, understanding, and the willingness to see beyond the obvious. Self-awareness provides the clarity and confidence to take those creative risks, knowing that even failure is an opportunity for insight and growth. Furthermore, self-awareness strengthens your resilience in the face of inevitable setbacks. Life is unpredictable, and obstacles will arise whether we are prepared or not. Self-aware individuals respond differently. They do not collapse under pressure or become defined by failure. Instead, they observe, analyze, and adapt. They recognize emotional triggers, anticipate stressors, and adjust their approach without compromising their values. This resilience is not accidental. It is cultivated through consistent reflection, self-assessment, and the willingness to confront discomfort head-on. Over time, resilience compounds, turning challenges into opportunities and adversity into fuel for growth. Perhaps most importantly, self-awareness brings a profound sense of alignment between your actions and your purpose. It allows you to live a life that feels authentic and meaningful, rather than one dictated by societal expectations, fleeting trends, or external approval. Success becomes not just about outcomes or accolades, but about congruence between who you are, what you value, and how you show up every day. This alignment is magnetic. It attracts opportunities, relationships, and experiences that resonate with your true self. It allows you to move through life with confidence, clarity, and a sense of fulfillment that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Self-awareness is both the lens and the compass of success. It transforms potential into action, knowledge into insight, and reflection into impact. Every habit you build, every decision you make, and every interaction you engage in becomes infused with clarity, intentionality, and purpose. As you deepen your self-awareness, you not only enhance your own life, but also create ripple effects that influence the people, communities, and environments around you. It is the invisible force that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement, that converts understanding into leadership, and that transforms ambition into a life of genuine fulfillment. Self-awareness is not simply a tool for success. It is the foundation upon which all meaningful achievement is built. It is the quiet, consistent practice of observing, reflecting, and understanding yourself that compounds over time into profound clarity, resilience, and impact. It allows you to navigate the complexities of life with insight, to lead with authenticity, and to create a future that reflects the best version of yourself. Every step taken with awareness is a step toward mastery, purpose, and lasting success.